and gentlemen, welcome to Classic Who Reviews. This week, I had the choice of story, and I picked the Fifth Doctor story, Enlightenment. And to talk about it, I'm joined by my two usual co-hosts. Firstly, if you cut him in half, you won't find cake, you'll find a mirror. It's FreezingInferno.
Very on topic, I suppose.
Yes. And speaking of cake, to my virtual right, happy birthday to her, happy birthday to her, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to her. It's Kat.
Oh, hey! Yes, we're recording this on July 13th, and that is my birthday.
Yep.
Happy birthday,
It really is her
Kat.
birthday. This isn't just for a bit.
I'm officially old as shit.
We all are. We all are.
Hey, I'm 1 year old and you
Well,
stop
some
talking.
of us more than others.
Stop talking.
But this episode's even older than any of us.
Yeah. So, interesting thing about Enlightenment, I did not know this when I picked it. This is the first and so far I think only one that was written and directed by a woman.
It's not the only. Well,
It's the first
I don't know
one.
about directed. But you have Survival.
It's the first one that's directed and written by a woman.
Yeah.
It might be
different
the
women.
only. I think it's the only one written and directed by a woman.
That's what I said. Why did you correct me earlier?
No, because of well, not fuck. There are two that are written by women in Classic Who. This is the first, and Survival in the McCoy era was also written.
Yeah, Ronna Munro, and that is the subject of the last ever, well, for now anyway, Classic Who watch along on July 18th.
Neat.
It's Survival. They're ending it with the end of the show.
Well,
The end of the
end
classic
of the
era.
show.
The end of the classic era of the show, yeah.
But this is not the end of the Classic era. This is Enlightenment.
But it is the end of something.
Yeah,
So some
whatever that
context,
might
because
be.
I don't know if Kat's confused because of the characters in this one. Some context then. Specifically, the character of Turlo requires some explaining. He debuted in two serials before this, and I'm going to get this horribly wrong. Is it Mordred Undead?
That is correct.
Yeah. Which was the start of a 3-story arc called the Black Guardian trilogy.
And the Black Guardian himself kind of needs a little explanation too. So this
He does.
is just
So that's Turlo's thing. The Black
That's
Guardian
already
debuted.
Before we get onto the explanation of the Black Guardian, let me guess. Him and the White Guardian are two sides of, I don't know, reality or something. One's good, one's evil. And they're fighting against each other to see exactly who wins, but neither can exist without the other, so really there's no point. They're just doing it to fuck around with.
Yeah, but there is something important about the Black Guardian. He showed up in the Tom Baker era.
that's also
Cool.
true. Yeah. Well, so did the White Guard. Yeah.
Yeah, but it
Cat
played by a different
basically got
actor.
it right, but they showed up in the entirety of season 16 in a 6-story arc called The Key to Time, which the White Guardian basically sent Tom Baker to collect pieces of some all-powerful artifact that the Black Guardian wanted. And then Tom Baker collected it all, and he dissipated all the pieces so the Black Guardian couldn't get it. And the Black Guardian basically wanted revenge. So
Yeah.
this is part of it. So this is part of his revenge is recruiting Turlo as his subordinate, I guess.
Yeah, Turlo has a
And
car
continually
accident.
popping up over the 3 stories to basically go, come on, Turlo, kill the Doctor, do it, you bitch, do it.
It's not
So,
one of the best endings to a story in the Peter Davison era, but I love the one before this is Terminus, and I just love the way that one ends, because it's just the Black Guardian going, this is your last chance, boy, kill the Doctor! And he says it like that.
I do have one question about this.
Mhm.
Since I haven't seen the other serials, obviously, did the Doctor take Turlo before he was allied with the Black Guardian, or
No.
did the
No.
Black Guardian ally
After.
himself with Turlo and then?
Yeah.
Okay,
the
so
latter.
asking that, why the fuck did the Doctor take on Turlo onto his ship?
Well,
Even not knowing the Black Guardian
don't think
stuff.
I don't-
Turlo is a shit character.
It's complicated. I haven't seen Modern Undead in a while. This is a bit of a gray area for me. I don't know. Guess he liked him
it's
somehow.
not really explained, because he's a bit of a coward. He admits to being a coward.
A bit.
He's not trustworthy until the end of this serial.
Okay, I want to say something real quick. You remember how last week we made a big deal about, Adric's here. Oh, shit, he's like the worst companion. And Kat was like, I actually found him okay. Turlo in this reminds me of Adric, the Adric that everyone hates. A little bit.
This is going to be awkward, isn't it? I quite like Turlo in this story.
It's interesting, I'll give him that, but I just got the same vibe. Like, it's not bad.
He's an agent of chaos, basically.
I will say he's a good foil for the Doctor. I'm just not sure exactly why the Doctor would ever take someone like that on. Because he's basically the anti-companion.
Yeah, and another thing we have to mention about Turlo, by the way, because it's not really apparent in this one, he's not human.
He is not.
He's an alien.
No, that I got. I got.
He's an alien who was masquerading as a human in the Brigadier's Unit Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had a car crash in the Brigadier's car. And that's where he meets...
Which fun little fact for Modern Undead. It wasn't supposed to be the Brigadier in it at all. It was actually supposed to be Ian Chesterton.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
That would have been really interesting, but they couldn't get the actor, so they were just like... They asked the Brigadier's actor to come in for it. And
I mean, I'm not going to object because I love the Brigadier, so...
So hang on. This dude somehow manages to get into a unit training camp?
School.
This dude.
It's
a
vague. School. It's a vague explanation.
Whatever. Either way, he's a huge coward. He obviously doesn't care about anybody other than himself. Up to a point, obviously.
He's opportunistic.
May I introduce you, Kat, to Harry Sullivan?
Who is an imbecile?
The point is that Unit didn't always make the best choice of personnel.
Well, to be fair, it's Unit. I get that.
But, yeah.
Need I remind you about the latest series and how they decided that apparently Unit could no longer be around due to budgeting issues? Because of Brexit.
Thanks. Thank you, Chibnall.
Thank you, Kat,
for
reminding me of that.
In canon, Unit is pretty stupid.
I mean, they're kind of pretty stupid anyway, because there's that scene in the Magician's Apprentice where Miss just killing them for fun.
Yeah.
And they do nothing. She's like, oh, you're not going to do anything? Well, thanks for bringing spares, I guess.
Also, the boxes thing from the
Zygons.
Crap, I can't remember what they're called now.
Zygons?
Yeah, the Zygon thing.
Yeah. So let's get into part one then.
Why are we so mad about Unit being gone?
We open on chess. It was Fenric all along.
Damn it!
I actually did expect that. I expected it to tie into Fenric somehow, but it didn't.
It couldn't, because Fenric was like
6 years later.
6 years after this.
Well, I mean, like the first part where the Doctor, tricked him with the chess game.
Yeah.
And then he got locked away, and then later on he came back with Ace and everything.
I would have preferred that, because instead we get a man with a bird on his head trying to get a message to Team TARDIS.
I gotta say, I really like the mood lighting on the TARDIS in these scenes. The orange.
Yeah, the mood lighting's good. The stuff
that
bird...
reminds me, was there anything in the previous episode that is why the TARDIS is low on power?
I don't think so.
Don't think there's anything in Terminus, no. I think they just half-assed it too.
I've only seen Terminus once, and all I remember is Turlo stuck in, a ventilator shaft for 4 episodes.
Yeah.
There's some really 80s. There's some really 80s Space Marines. Some guys have the plague. There's an actual Wolfman.
And a companion leaves.
Okay, second question to compound on that. Why the hell did we watch those episodes?
Oh, I didn't.
Because I picked Enlightenment for a reason.
Okay.
Because Terminus is not good.
Isn't it? I don't remember.
It's just kind of sort of there. It's sort of boring.
Yeah, it's fine.
But it's
that thing that Frez just described to us is boring?
Well, maybe boring is the wrong word. It's not good
I
and
just
it's not
described
bad.
the best, most memorable parts of it.
Yeah. The rest of it is just Turlo stuck in a shaft for 4 episodes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Terminus in a long time. But, so the chess game, and then the White Guardian with a dead bird strapped to his head, gets a message to them, but it's sort of garbled. He can't get all the words out because of the power shortage.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. The destruction of the universe.
Apparently, you can actually figure out what he's saying if you watch his mouth movement. But yeah,
it's too bad the doctor can't read lips.
Yeah, the doctor can't read lips.
Too bad I also can't read lips, so we're all fucked.
He just says something on the lines of "Winner take all, Rack must not win the race." I'm paraphrasing, but it's basically something like that.
He mentions Rack. That's interesting.
I think he mentions Rack. It could be Black Guardian because Black and Rack end in the same letters.
Yeah, it could be.
Well, from what we know later, it doesn't matter which one.
I'm not particularly interested to look it up, to be honest with you. I don't really care. There's more important things going on, such as where the TARDIS has landed next.
Yeah, the White Guardian manages to get out some coordinates for the Doctor to investigate.
Yeah,
and there's a pretty interesting prickly moment between him and Turlo, because the Doctor wants them to boost the power of the TARDIS so he can get through to the White Guardian, but they're on low power, like I said, so it's overloading the thing. So Turlo actually turns it off before the Doctor gets the entire message, and the Doctor's kind of pissed off at that. He's just like, "Don't you fucking disobey me again!"
Yeah, and Turlo's explanation is that he thought it was going to explode.
But it's interesting. I find it interesting.
But was he actually telling the truth, or was it because he's still working for the Black Guardian?
Who knows?
I think he was telling the truth.
I think he was, because it actually does explode a bit later on.
Yeah, so it does.
The console
just combination of both.
We haven't actually mentioned the Doctor yet, because this is our first Fifth Doctor story.
It is, yeah. I would love to know Cat's impressions of Peter Davison.
Yeah, so why don't we just take a bit to talk about Peter Davison? What do y'all think of him as Doctor Who?
Based on this serial alone, I can kind of see why people would not like him. He's kind of tetchy.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of an asshole in places, particularly to Tegan.
I will say this, though, and I promise this is a compliment. There really are parallels between Fifth Doctor era and the current 13th Doctor era. That's just, he does feel a lot like 13. Or rather, I guess
that might be why I liked him.
Or rather, I guess it'd be more accurate to say that 13 feels a lot like 5.
So you like him?
I like him.
Yeah,
I rather enjoyed him in his presentation of everything. I mean,
there are
I honestly thought he was going to be very silly because of the whole celery stick thing.
My God,
there is a moment with that I love.
So do I. It's so good. But I like him. He does remind me of 13 in some ways. Optimist, but not afraid to call someone out on their bullshit. Like calling Turlo out on that disobedience thing kind of remind me of that bit in Haunting of Villa Diodati, where she's like, "Don't you tell me about the laws of time." You know the scene I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Where they have to choose between killing Shelley or potentially killing the human race.
But there's also a bit of a parallel where the Fifth Doctor was all about sort of the small, intimate human moments of life, as opposed to the grandiose, which I definitely feel from 13 at points, and is definitely present in a fair few Fifth Doctor stories, including this one.
Yeah.
So that's more writing and thematic than performance, but there is a degree of performance to it as well.
I do like him. I think I prefer him in things like Caves of Androzani and other stories I've seen him in, but I do like him here. Even though he's kind of...
I won't say he's my favorite Doctor, but...
He isn't, no.
Yeah, he's good.
At one point he was my third favourite classic Doctor behind McCoy and Tom Baker. He's slipped down the order a little bit.
It's more his era that is the problem. There's not a lot of Fifth Doctor stories capital L, love.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that.
This is up there, though. I'll say that much. This is definitely up there.
A lot of the Fifth eras...
I enjoyed the time.
Sorry, a lot of the Fifth Doctor era stories are competent, if not fantastic.
That's basically correct.
And that kind of...
And then there's a lot of outright bad ones too.
Yeah, like Warriors of the Deep. That's the Fifth Doctor.
Or 4 to Doomsday.
Oh God, no.
Which is an early one, and I fucking hate that story.
Yeah, but for every 4 to Doomsday, there's a Castrovalva, there's an Enlightenment.
There's a Kinda, there's a Snake Dance.
There's an Arc of Infinity.
Oh, Arc of
Force of the Night.
Wait, no.
That's not a Fifth Doctor. But...
No, but it's still bad, and I need to mention that.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the plot of Enlightenment. The Doctor and co arrive in the hold of a ship.
Yeah. We're on a boat.
Hmm.
And according to this, it's an Edwardian yacht.
Yes.
Oh, there's a moment I got to mention because this I've only seen Enlightenment once before this, and years ago. So I knew like some of the basic plot elements of it, but I didn't really know like the whole structure. This legitimately scared the shit out of me.
I know the bit
It's
you're
a
talking
really
about.
unsettling, creepy image. So the Doctor and Turlough go out to investigate the whole of the ship, and the Doctor has Tegan stay behind to monitor the TARDIS.
Is it the hands?
Yes!
It's not just the hands.
Oh, that creeped me out too!
It's the
Oh
dude.
my god. The dude, no, yeah, the dude is creepy too. All story, but the hands, it's just Tegan is in the TARDIS, just looking around at something, and in the back of the shot is the scanner of the TARDIS. And all of a sudden, a pair of hands press against it.
Yep.
And then you
Put that
just
shit on
see this
screen.
big face come slowly up and staring directly at Tegan.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus, fuck.
This
It's
guy
like,
is a
again,
creep.
this is not a window. This is not a window. This is not a screen of any kind. This is a scanner image of the outside of the TARDIS. And this guy is staring straight at Tegan.
Yeah.
Creepy as hell.
So how the heck can he see her is the question.
Well, there's answers for that.
Oh yes, they do answer that question, which I'm grateful for.
Mm.
And then the guy sort of falls down. I think, oh, has he just fallen to his death?
But in the meantime, we get a lovely... Episode 1 is a really nice bit of slow world building.
Yeah.
Because this is episodic, so they can afford the time to just slowly build things up and just get the setting straight. So the Doctor and Turlough do some more exploring, and they find the cabins, I guess, and there's a whole bunch of sailors on this ship just playing cards and smoking and drinking, just relaxing in their cabins.
Yep, pretty much.
As sailors are
And
known to
this
do.
Yeah. And this is where we get some of our exposition. The Doctor and Turlough they act natural. They're checking the newspaper for the date to find out that they're in the Edwardian era. Turlough wants to leave because he's cowardly and he doesn't want any
Because
of this
he's
shit.
Turlough.
Because he's Turlough. Which I haven't seen that many Turlough episodes in recent memory, so I don't remember if he's this cowardly all the time. Or if
I don't
this
know,
is
but
just
I
the
feel
Black
that
Album
we
thing.
can explain a lot of his actions in this serial just by saying because it's Turlough.
Is he in the Five Doctors?
He is in the Five Doctors.
Ew.
He spends pretty much the runtime of the Five Doctors stuck in the TARDIS with Susan as the Cybermen try to blow it up.
Oh yes.
Which doctors are in the 5 Doctors? Is it 1 through 5, or is
One,
it...
1
Yeah,
to
1
5,
to
but the
5.
first has died at this point, so they replaced him with Richard Herndl.
Okay.
It's a fan
I
favorite.
could not see the first Doctor putting up with any of Turlough's shit.
He doesn't.
Not really.
Good.
He
He doesn't put up with
also
anyone.
he also treats Tegan as the help, which is not so good.
And Tegan's about to pop him off one for that
Yes.
story. I love Tegan.
I love Tegan too. She's really awesome.
Yeah.
Tegan's like she's.
I do want to
definitely-
know though,
Mhm.
for Tegan, did the costume director have a trouble with her breathing? Because her top is so tight, her chest literally mushrooms out of the top of it. It's like so
Are you
distracting.
talking? Are you talking about her casual clothes or the dress?
Yes,
she
her casual clothes. Because I was standing there watching her heaving, like breathing super hard. I think it's around the time when she was running around the hole trying to get away from this dude.
Oh, we gotta
And the
talk about
entire
that
time,
in a second.
I'm just staring at the top of her clothes because all you could see is her chest, like rising, mushrooming out, and then sinking back down, and then right back out. And it's like really distracting because it's like
I honestly
how do
never
you
noticed that.
see that?
I never noticed that while I was watching this.
Yeah,
It
well,
may be because I'm female and I'm used to that sort of thing happening, where if you have too tight of clothes, that will happen. And it honestly looked like they tried to bind down her chest and failed.
I'll have to take your word for it.
It's
wild.
bad. Let's just say it's bad, and it looks like it seriously hurts.
Anyway, based on what she saw in the TARDIS scanner, Tegan leaves the TARDIS against the wishes of the Doctor.
Well, before that, she gets more cryptic message from the White Guardian.
Oh yes, that's right.
And then shit blows up.
And then the console explodes. Yeah.
All she gets out of him is that winner takes all.
Yeah.
But we get more, and now we're paralleling Tegan's business in the hold with the Doctor's continued learning what's going on from the sailors. They don't actually remember coming aboard the ship.
No.
Is the long and short of it. So we're setting up more of a mystery here as to I wonder what's going on here on this ship. What could be happening?
Oh, and then they make sure to point out that there is one guy in the crew of sailors who does not drink.
Yeah.
But
make sure you remember that.
But it's wild because that's adding more to the clue that weird's going on. They weren't just drunk. They all of them assume, oh yeah, we probably just got too drunk. But the other guy's like, well, that's funny. I don't drink, but I still don't really.
Yeah, and this sailor, Jackson, he takes a bit of a shine to Turlo.
Yeah.
And Turlo doesn't
and
repay him for it.
Speaking of taking a shine, here's Tegan with a creepy fucking officer.
Yeah, well, before that, she's discovered in the hole by a different officer.
Okay.
And then the creepy guy from earlier turns up.
Oh my god.
This is Mariner. Mariner's creepy as hell.
So
yeah, just a bit.
Hey, I'm gonna say something. It's partly just jokes and gags, but there could be some relevance to it. I don't know. So remember how Dragonfire invented the Karen in Doctor Who?
Oh no.
All right, go ahead.
In Enlightenment, writer Barbara Clegg has predicted the rise of the incel.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No.
I knew you were going to say the word incel 10 seconds before you said it, and oh god. Yeah.
This guy is the epitome of the nice guy trope. He's just missing the neck beard and being ugly as hell, essentially.
I mean, there's a reason for him to be so socially awkward.
I could compare him to actual real life examples, but I'm nice, so I won't.
There's a reason he's so socially awkward, but also it's very creepy.
But there are people I've seen online who have exhibited this sort of behaviour.
Yeah.
Like I said, I won't mention names. Too. I'm not going to mention names.
But people like this guy who act like this in real life are the reason that I don't typically identify as a woman on any sort of platform, except for certain situations.
I can understand why.
Oh yeah. Oh god, that sucks. But this guy, he has a really creepy moment that stuck with me, where Tegan is just like sort of trying to get away from him because he's a creepy fuck.
Yeah.
So she climbs up to get out of the hole, and he's waiting for her.
Yeah.
He like teleported like a goddamn slasher villain.
Yeah. Actually, that pretty much sums it up, is that he's like a slasher villain.
Yeah.
You like can't get away from him. You're trapped in a very small area with him, and he follows you all the goddamn time.
Oh my god.
I am convinced that when Tegan went to go to sleep later on in the episode, he was standing outside her door watching her dream.
Heavy breathing.
Yeah, he absolutely was.
Oh my god. Well, Jesus Christ.
I don't think he was outside her door. I think he was like just outside her bed, for God's sakes.
In less creepy news, more information's learned. This ship is currently part of a race.
Yes.
And from
It's a
here
weird
we
race.
get. Oh, it's a weird race. For
Oh, it's
sure.
weird. This whole story is weird.
Well, we'll
One can
get to
almost
that.
say it's a wacky race.
Oh my god.
But
Yeah,
sadly, there's no Snidely Whiplash, so
that's
you're gonna have to deal
not
with
what I
that.
was. That's not what I was thinking of.
There's a moment
referencing.
I really want to highlight, Kat, because I need your in lieu of saying the acronym, moving image creation skills.
GIF.
The guy that made it says it's a
Yes.
GIF, so it's a GIF.
Fine,
Again,
fine.
I'm one of those people who I will say that it's GIF just because the guy says that it is supposed to be GIF. But if you want to call it a GIF, I don't really care. Just do
Okay,
it. As long as
okay.
I understand what you're talking about.
Right. Okay, there's a GIF I need you to make here because so basically the creepy guy is like, well, you really shouldn't try to run away. Why don't you just let me take you to some quarters or something, and I'll find your friends who are on the ship. And she tries to poke her face at first, but she's like, yeah, they're here? Okay, fine. So this guy goes to tell the doctor, Tegan's here. And he goes to find her in, I think it's a dining room, yeah?
I believe so.
And his goddamn face when he walks in and sees Tegan. He just walks in and he's just like, oh, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
You know what he kind of reminds me of?
What's that?
Have you guys ever seen the Disney movie Tangled?
No.
Yes.
Well, you'll know what I'm talking about then, Rain. He's Mother Gothel.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Mariner knows best.
So just so you know, Frez, essentially the idea is that, you know the basic story of Rapunzel, right?
Yeah. Girl tower, long hair.
Right. And you know about the whole, eating lettuce and then witch cursed them, blah, 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 blah.
I do now, yes.
You seriously didn't know the main part of... Anyways.
No.
So the idea was that Rapunzel's mother was having real trouble with, the pregnancy. She really wanted some lettuce. Her husband went and got the lettuce, and the witch was like, you can't take that, blah, 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 so on and so forth. In this one, it's a magic flower. The magic flower gives Rapunzel's hair healing properties that keep Mother Gothel young.
Okay.
So, she sings this whole song about how you can't go out into the real world. There's brigands, and there's thieves, and there's people who want to kill you just by looking at you, and it's super dangerous. Stay with me. I'm safe.
Yes.
This is just the Hunchback to Notre Dame.
You're talking about Mother Knows Best, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's the villain from the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
By the way, Mother Knows Best, really underrated villain song in the Disney Pantheon.
It's really good.
Really underrated.
And it's not quite the Hunchback for us, just because Frollo wants to keep him there because, he's ugly and doesn't want to deal with him.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, Mother Gothel has a legitimate reason for wanting to keep her there because Mother Gothel won't be able to survive without Rapunzel there.
Yeah.
Okay.
If she leaves, she'll die.
Yeah.
This has been your Disney movie summary.
So join us next week when we go over the Lion King and compare it to the original one.
Oh, please.
If
we
It's
talk
not
about
actually happening.
If we talk about any Disney films on here at length, it's going to be Basil the Great Mouse Detective. Let's be honest.
If we talk about any Disney movies on here, it's going to be Treasure Planet and Atlantis because those are underrated movies, and I will stand by them for the rest of time.
Listen. I am here to stand the Black Cauldron, and I'll hear nothing else.
I agree with you.
Back in the world of
Thank you.
Enlightenment, then.
Back in the world of Enlightenment, I love the next scene where Turlo stays behind with the sailors, and then the next scene he's just got a hat on and he's built a house of cards.
Yeah.
That's really cute.
That is good. Anyway, eventually, the Doctor is discovered by the officers.
Yeah, and
Or he's summoned by the
led to,
officers, in fact.
Yeah, and led to Tegan, where he makes that face I need Cat to give.
Yeah.
Yes, I will make it.
Thank you.
So they're having dinner with the officers. The captain is introduced as Stryker, who took time away from Mortal
Which
Kombat 3
all I could
to...
think of was that joke, Striker, and then in the background, smack.
Yeah. Stryker took time out from Mortal Kombat 3 to be the captain of this ship. And
it.
it doesn't quite work because it's not spelled. It's not spellable Y, but but the dinner is interrupted by a bell, not the cloister bell.
No.
And they say the race has begun, and then we get the big reveal.
Oh, this is one of the best cliffhangers.
This is done really well.
This is like a Moffat level cliffhanger in that it takes the story that's been building up and it completely flips it on its head.
Yeah. It's world building, but it's world building done really, really well. So they say the race has begun. There's this sailor who's operating the wheel, and then Tegan is the one that notices something's not quite right here. There are electronics on this 17th century ship.
And wetsuits.
How strange.
Well, wetsuits they go first, but then they go up to the wheelhouse, and the sailors, well, not the sailors, the officers open up a panel, and there's like keypads and shit, and this is like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, and then they open up.
Hey guys, guess what? It's a space race.
Yeah,
the wall opens up. It's a view screen, and there are fucking tall sailing ships in outer space.
Yeah, it's a really nice shot.
Oh my god!
And that's how part one ends.
All kinds of ships out there too. There's like a Greek one. There's a Viking one, which has like all the people rowing, which is really weird.
I wish we'd seen more of that.
Yeah.
God, but it is such a neat cliffhanger. Like, I've praised other cliffhangers, like in the McCoy era and whatnot, but this is really, really properly great because it just takes something you've assumed for the whole episode and completely turns it. Like, oh, you thought this was a period piece? We're in outer space.
Yeah.
Try and guess what's going on now.
This would be like if The Mummy on the Orient Express was a two-parter and the first part ended with them revealing that the Orient Express was actually in space.
Oh, that would be wild. Yeah, but this is really good. And it's a really incredible visual. Like, the effects hold up. Like,
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
they
a
really do.
evocative gonzo image.
There is a special edition of this that we didn't watch. I hope they didn't change that.
Oh, look, here we go. Oh, man.
I hope they didn't try to CGI that quote unquote improve that, because it doesn't need improving. That's great.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah. So part one concludes with the Doctor and company realizing they turned up a Yogi space race. Part two continues the exposition dump, the lore dump. We found out about these officers. And we're right to think they're a bit strange, because they are extremely strange. They're not human.
Yeah, just a bit.
Before we get to that, I've got it in my notes here, the order of how we find out about these things. We learn a bit more. They take a look at the chart, like the route of their race, and there's planets rather than like marker buoys or whatever. And Earth is one of the planets, so the sailors from this Edwardian ship came from Earth. But they don't realize that it's space because, they can't remember shit. So it actually kind of made me think of the old Second Doctor story, the War Games.
Yeah.
Well,
this is very similar to War Games.
Yeah. In that one,
they say that they can't remember, but there is one person who does.
Well, mostly they can't remember.
For a while, anyway.
Yeah. They fiddle with that, but we'll get to that in due time.
Yeah.
But yeah, for your benefit, Kat, in the War Games, aliens kidnap a bunch of soldiers from different wars and drug them up so they don't think anything's amiss, and basically make them fight each other for shits and giggles. Yeah. So it's kind of the same thing that's going on here. Sailors from different eras are kidnapped from Earth and put on these replica era ships to take part in the race. But there is more to it than just, we need a crew. And that is basically what the deal is with the officers in charge of all of this. And now we can get into them.
Okay, so I can now reveal what they are, can I?
Uh-huh.
So these guys are not aliens.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not human. They are Eternals.
Yay!
They are creatures that exist outside of time. They are, well, as the name suggests, eternal. They go on forever.
Essentially, they're frogs. Not really,
it.
because that was an entire universe.
Yeah.
But you get the idea.
That has completely derailed me. Thanks for that. I
No,
was
but
about
I
to
think
say.
that's the best use for that.
I
I think that's the best use for that term now.
All right. I know we learn more about them as we go, but I really want to just lay out all the deal with these
Please do.
guys. Because they're really quite fascinating to me. So they exist outside of time, or whatever, and they're basically empty and devoid of like thought or meaning or whatever. So when they come to our plane of reality, what they use to manifest themselves is the thoughts of humans. Ephemerals, they call them, because they don't live forever.
Not just
so
humans, but yes.
Well, anything really, but humans in this case. So that's why everything is structured around like human ships and whatnot, like so Greek ships and Viking ships and whatnot. It's all adhering to the rules of the game, which they're playing, to alleviate their eternity of boredom.
Yeah.
Which
and also
quite how they have boredom when they're like devoid of feeling and need to tap into a human mind to do that shit is beyond me. But
maybe they get the boredom from being around humans.
Maybe they do. There you go. But
I guess then the question is, were they in the universe before this? Because one would suggest that in order to enter the race, you have to literally come out of their their zone, go into the universe, have their race, and then if they win or lose the race, that depends on if if they disappear or not back to the plane.
Yes and no. Now, the Eternals do get some mentions in Modern Who, which I just like to go through.
There's one particular episode I can think of.
They get a brief mention in the Shakespeare Code. They are the ones that banish the Carrionites.
Really?
Yeah. And they don't really get mentioned again until Series 12, where Zellin in Can You Hear Me talks about both them and the Black and White Guardian.
Which just makes me think, who wrote Can You Hear Me? Who wrote that again?
That would have been
Can You Hear
Charlene
Me,
James.
Who? Makes me think Charlene James just had an Enlightenment DVD and a really bad weekend for mental health.
Is it Charlene James, or did she do Via Diodati? Hang on, I'm going to get this right. No, I don't have an account. God damn it.
Can You Hear Me, Doctor Who? Written by Charlene James and Chris Chibnall.
Okay, I was right. Yeah. But yeah, Zellin, in that story, Zellin basically said, he sort of rattles off other immortal beings. He says, the Eternals have their games, the Guardians have their power struggles. Thereby perfectly summing up this entire story.
Basically.
Good job, Zellin.
I just imagine one of the Eternals going, Zellin, for the love of God, back on and get your hands on the wheel.
But he's not one of them.
He's not, no, but that was a funny image.
He's not an Eternal, he's not a Guardian, despite the rumours that he was the Black Guardian, Rakai was the White Guardian. It didn't pan out that way.
Oh no, they were both fuckwits.
Yeah.
What, you think the White Guardian's not a fuckwit? Yeah, we'll just leave that hanging in there.
I guess you could put it as the Eternals are kind of like parasites. They can't exist unless they have leached on to someone else.
The Doctor even calls them that. Yeah. The Doctor even calls them that in the story.
I find this a really fascinating sort of concept. Just it makes me think of creativity. Like they lack creativity, so they have to steal it from human minds, even though they find the human mind basically inferior to them.
Yeah. So Stryker,
but as the Doctor points out, that they basically don't know the small, intimate pleasures of life, and they don't give a shit about human life because they're so far above it. But in some ways, some of them kind of do, and it's interesting in that regard. I really like this concept.
Yeah. Now the ship is the Buccaneer, the 17th century ship, and Stryker,
Original name?
Mariner, and the officers are all Eternals. But they're not the only ones in this race, and they are alerted to the presence of the Greek, Critus the Greek. Now, Critus the Greek is gaining fast on the ship that is in the lead at the moment, which is the... Oh, no, sorry. The Buccaneer is the other ship. This is the Shadow.
The Shadow is the one that we're on.
Yeah, they're on the Shadow, sorry. A small mix-up, but the name is actually quite interesting.
They're cruising along the orbit of Venus to pick up speed, I guess, in space.
Yeah, they nearly hit it. The Shadow nearly hits it. They avoid it. The Greek is not so fortunate.
No.
The Greek ship
It's sad
explodes.
because a little earlier than this, they show this really cool screen where they bring up the Eternal who's dressed like in full Greek wear too.
Yeah.
And it's really amazing how essentially they're LARPing right now.
They are LARPing.
Yeah, they're LARPing. They basically stole the concept.
Which actually
from the
contributes a lot more to the Mariner's creepy factor because he would be the kind of person who would LARP.
Yeah.
Well, he's not a person.
But basically, the Mariner, to explain him real quick now, since the Eternals don't really understand the human mind, they just copy the thoughts from it. The Mariner is like oddly fixated on the thoughts of Tegan. He's like, wow, your thoughts are really fascinating. I like it. And he's
I think
just
at one point
around
he says that they're really disconnected and discombobulated or something
because
along those lines.
he is masquerading as a 17th century sailor, Edwardian naval sailor. He probably hasn't encountered a woman before.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Other than Eternals that take the form of women like Rack, who we'll get to later.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, she would be new and fascinating to him.
And to get back to the Eternals and this game they're playing, this race.
Yeah.
The Doctor is mentioning when they're doing the high gambit turn around Venus, they're getting close to the gravitational pull. He's like, isn't this dangerous? And Captain Stryker says something about how the high-risk gambit is what makes eternity bearable.
Yeah.
Shit like that. Because they can't die. They just poof back to the void.
If an Eternal is, quote-unquote, killed, if their ship is destroyed, they just disappear and are displaced back to their realm.
The rest of the crew is out of luck, but,
The crew is human, so the crew dies.
Oh, the crew's fucked, but they don't give a the Eternals don't give a shit.
The Ephemerals are SOL, and Tegan actually calls them out on this. When the Greek ship explodes, because spoilers, the Greek ship explodes.
Yeah, she's talking to Mariner, and he's like, oh, don't worry, they lived. Wait, they survived? Yeah, they just poofed back. Oh, you're just talking about your people. You're talking about the humans.
Yeah.
You don't give a shit.
And perhaps brought on by this distress of what's happened to the humans on the crew, Tegan starts to feel unwell.
Well, she feels unwell before that.
Yeah, so naturally, creepy dude got volunteers.
Seasick.
Yeah, creepy dude volunteers to take her back to her cabin.
And this is like, well, we've already mentioned it, but this is one of the first clues in the story of how the Eternals work. Tegan's cabin, as it turns out, is a hodgepodge of her room on the TARDIS and her room back in Australia. Yeah. They literally built her cabin from her memory.
I love this idea.
Creepy stalker.
I don't love that idea, but the idea
So when you said, Kat, that Mariner was probably watching her dreaming, he was probably literally sitting there reading her mind going, what? This is a weird, disjointed thought process she's having while sleeping. Yeah. How strange.
He literally was reading her mind.
Yeah.
He offers her a drink. My mind immediately went to roofies, and I do not apologise for that.
I mean,
it's even better than that. It's rum.
It did conk Tegan out real good, and it's like the same shit that they've been giving the sailors to keep them.
Like, I'm sorry, but if they put connotations of that in the story, I'm going to talk about the connotations of that in the story.
Oh, well.
Well, I mean,
Mariner's such
to
a
be
creepy
fair,
fuck,
it's a
but
little
yeah.
bit worse than it actually is because, like Frez just said, they're using the rum in order to keep the entire crew from essentially going insane once they go up to the top and realize that they're in space.
Yes,
On
which one of them
space
does and
rigging.
screams when he realizes it.
Yeah, and it's the same guy who doesn't drink, so of course he has no idea. And
Yeah.
actually, at one point, we forgot to mention, he manages to steal key to the rum cabinet and gives it to,
Turlo.
what's his face? Turlo.
That's a mistake.
Whoopsie diddle do.
Yes.
Well, actually, I don't think we ever see Jackson again after that in the story. Like, it kind of sets up that he's relying on Turlo to start like a mutiny, and
We see him at the end of part 2 and the beginning of part 3, and then that's it.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. His
We can
story
only
is
assume
done.
that at some
Going
point
back
they
to- yeah.
they erased his mind or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Going back to the Greek crashing and burning, the doctor says that something along the lines of he wasn't close enough to Venus's gravitational pull to do it. So the assumption there is sabotage, and there's a really interesting clue put in there when they're looking at him on screen, where he has this anachronistic ring. Like
Yeah.
I remembered it when I
strange
got to
gem.
that point, but that's a really neat clue for later.
The doctor
I like
says,
It's
you know,
almost like I pointed out them looking at the Greek person who was sitting in there as for a reason.
yeah, we never got
Well-
around to that till now, but yes,
Well, you didn't mention the thing. Yeah.
I did mention it, and I was going to say it, but then we moved on.
you've done this
Also,
enough to know that's how this just works.
Yeah. So moving ahead, let's talk about Turlo for a bit. He wants help from the Black Guardian over the Black Guardian trilogy. The Black Guardian is given this little crystal that he can use to contact him. So every so often he'll pull it out when he's alone. He's like, "Please help me for the love of God."
Yeah. The Black
And he
Guardian's
does
not
that.
having any of it.
Oh, before that, I just want to say something. Considering that you mentioned "Can You Hear Me?" name checks the Guardians and the Eternals.
It does.
Turlo, yeah. Can You Hear Me? Name checks the Guardians and the Eternals.
I said that earlier, yes.
Turlo, when he's talking to the crystal, he actually does say the phrase, "Can you hear me?"
Yeah.
So I was like, holy shit.
Sheldon James confirmed to be a fan of the Fifth Doctor.
Yeah,
Sheldon
maybe
James-
she really
Sheldon
was
James
watching
really
that
did binge
episode.
this. Sheldon James really did binge this while having a bad mental health. Oh my god. Head
Yeah,
canon confirmed.
possibly.
Sounds legit.
But
Oh,
then
oh.
later, the Black Guardian does manifest.
And he just is not having any of Turlo's shit at this point. He is
Yeah.
done with him.
Chokeholds the fucker.
He chokeslams him.
Choke slams him. I love the Black Guardian's laugh. It's literally like a papyrus laugh.
You can tell that Valentine Dale had the time of his life doing this.
Who doesn't have the time of their life getting to do an evil villain laugh?
Yeah, I mean, just look at the villain we're gonna have later on. She
Yeah.
like goes full out.
She
Oh,
she
that's
too
gonna be
enjoyed her
so-
time on the show, I think.
I enjoyed her time on the show, that's
But-
for sure.
This leads to some really interesting shit where they find Turlo and they're basically Turlo and Tegan want to go back to the TARDIS because fuck this boat sucks. There's these Eternals and Tegan's got a fucking stalker. Let's go back to the TARDIS. Unfortunately, the Eternals have been reading their minds during this conversation, and they find out what a TARDIS is. So when they go back to the hold, there's no TARDIS there.
Yeah, it's gone.
Where it's gone is a really gonzo interesting idea that we'll get to. but
Yeah, that's probably the one
This
misstep in the
leads
whole
us
part
to,
4.
this leads us to our episode 2 cliffhanger. But before that, we do get the confirmation of the story's title. Enlightenment
Yeah, that's the
is
prize.
is the prize for winning the race. What that means is left up to debate for now, but that's the name check.
Even the
Enlightenment
Guardians...
is the
Sorry, not the
prize.
Guardians. Even the Eternals don't know.
They figure, some of them figure it's basically whatever they want.
They're racing for a prize. They don't know what it is.
But episode 2's cliffhanger is the one I remembered.
Well, before we get to
Coming
that,
in.
let's just resolve what happens with Jackson and the key to the rum ration.
Sure. Does that happen in part 3?
No, this is part 2 because Jackson
Okay.
shows up in part 3 after
Okay,
this.
go ahead.
Okay,
ahead.
so Turlo sells him out.
Basically.
They read his mind. They know about the key, but he basically says there's going to be a mutiny, and Jackson is going to organise it. And he's gone to Turlo, and that's why he gave him the key to the rum ration. They were going to organise a mutiny and overthrow the officers. But then the really interesting
And-
thing is the doctor says, will Jackson be punished? And he says, punished for entertaining us? Why?
Wild.
Yeah, it's like they already know and they don't care.
They actually enjoy the fact he's planning to turn on them.
Mm-hmm.
But then we do get the part 2 cliffhanger, which is really good.
Oh, it's fucked up. But and again, it calls back to "Can you hear me?" because we basically have a suicide attempt.
We do.
Yeah.
The Black Guardian
that's
is
so
taunting
weird.
Turlo, and he's like, "You're gonna spend eternity on this ship, failing me."
That happens when he choked him out, yes.
Yeah.
Essentially, by this point, the Black Guardian pretty much gives up on Turlo ever actually killing the Doctor. So he's like, you know what? You're dead to me. You're going to have bad things happen to you.
Yeah.
And that's
So
the whole
Turlo's
reason
all
why.
happy because the TARDIS is gone, and he's like, "Doctor, are we gonna find the TARDIS? Are we gonna find the goddamn TARDIS already?"
Oh, yeah, and the Eternals disappeared the TARDIS. Forgot to mention that earlier.
I mentioned it.
We just mentioned that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, the Doctor's just like chill about it. He's like, "Oh, don't worry, Turlo. We'll find it eventually. I'm sure. You know, have hope, keep faith." But the Black Guardian is still in Turlo's head. They're on the deck, by the way, in their spacesuits.
Yeah,
'Cause
Tegan's
Mariner wanted to
with
show-
Mariner.
because he wanted to show her the pretty view, and you know.
I
Do-
can show you the world.
Oh, God.
back
We're back to
again.
Disney.
Only
But,
it's instead of Aladdin, it's Jafar doing the magic carpet ride.
So yeah, the Black Guardian screaming in Turlo's ears about, "You're gonna spend perpetual torment on this ship, you fuck!" Woo. And Turlo's just like, "No, I'll never serve you again." And he gets on the railing and leaps off into the void.
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
Cliffhanger sting.
dun.
Brilliant cliffhanger.
It's wild. So Guardians, Eternals, the phrase "Can you hear me?" and suicide attempt by a companion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I
I mean,
think by this
definitely-
point we've pretty much established that she's a huge fan of this episode.
She watched the Black Guardian trilogy while she was having a mental depression. I think.
Yes.
I mean, I can think of worse comfort TV while you're having a bad day.
Yeah. I'm not going to go into that subject because I've had bad days myself.
Yeah, I think we did that with "Can you hear me?"
Yeah, that resonated with us
Yeah,
very
if you
strongly.
want to hear us talk about mental health issues,
I will link that
you
in the
can watch
description
that.
if you haven't seen us, because it's a
You
heavy
should just watch
discussion,
that.
but it's one we had to have.
Yeah.
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 It was important.
Yeah.
Ironically, can you hear? I'll spoil this for you, for if you haven't seen the episode. Ironically, we're making jokes about her having watched Enlightenment during a mental health episode. "Can you hear me?" was the Doctor Who episode I watched the weekend I had a mental health episode. So
Yeah,
it hit me
Yay.
like a ton of bricks.
yeah.
Well,
But-
so then that means in a couple of years you're going to write something that's very much like both of those episodes, but yet not.
Quite possibly.
Quite possibly. So, episode 3.
Yeah, so we meet the best character.
Oh, she's so good.
Yes.
So
Yes,
the
my
cliffhanger
favorite.
resolution is Turlo doesn't get saved by the shadow, but he does get picked up by the nearby Buccaneer,
Yeah,
and he's saved from oxygen starvation, and dragged by the pirates, thrown on the ground, and he crawls towards Risky Boots. I mean, Captain Rack.
Captain Rack, played by Linda Barron.
The shot is just like, oh, I mean, the fucking energy of it.
Yeah,
Turlo's crawling forward. He reaches her boots. He looks up and hears a pirate queen with her sword out, and she's like, "Ooh."
And
Yeah.
she's the best.
I've written in my notes, and I quote, "Yar har har, Turlo about to be domed by a pirate queen."
I would say I would happily have her as a recurring villain if possible.
She's so good.
yeah.
She's fantastic.
I would have loved her to
She is
come
so
back,
into her
but
role.
that didn't happen.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so there's
She's
another
only in part
interesting
3 and 4, but you can just tell every second she's on the
steals-
screen, she's
she
loving
steals the
it.
show.
She's
And,
loving
we
it.
She absolutely
And we
steals
should
it.
mention, by the way, that the actress Linda Barron has showed up in Doctor Who since.
Oh yeah,
She
closing
played-
time.
And not just Closing Time. She was also in the McCoy era story, Paradise Towers.
Oh.
No way.
Yeah. She had a minor role in that. And she was also a shop clerk in Closing Time.
I remember in Closing Time. I remember in Paradise Towers.
Have you seen Paradise Towers?
We've reviewed it together.
We did?
We did. It was one of the first ones we did together on your channel.
Really? Hang on. I gotta look this shit up. Did we do Paradise Towers?
I'm sure we did.
I literally do not remember doing
If we
Paradise
haven't, I've definitely seen that episode. But
This was
All right,
in
I'm
the
so- I'm
BK
sorry, I'm
time, so
sorry.
I have
My
no
dumb
idea what
brain.
you're talking about.
while you check that, so yeah, Captain Rack is about to dominate Turlo. She's got a knife to his throat.
Well, she's not so much doing that. What she's doing is she's actually tricking him, because she does all the theatrics, but then she looks at the sword and hands it off so he can be gifted to one of the other Eternals.
That's the sword. This is a knife she's
We
got to his throat.
we haven't done Paradise
Well,
Towers.
whatever.
We haven't done Paradise
If we have-
Towers.
If we have, it's not on my page.
Okay, but I've definitely seen it and we've talked about it.
Fair enough.
That's where I'm getting confused. Sorry.
Yeah. I like Turlo in the scene because, again, he's definitely opportunistic. This is what made me think of Adric, by the way. In a lot of Adric in a few Adric stories, I can think of State of Decay and Forward to Doomsday. He had turns where he pretends to be on the villain's side in order to gain their trust and betray them in the end. But it still made him out to look like an opportunistic little shit. But Turlo definitely looks like more of an opportunistic little shit than.
See, that's the part where I'm confused here, because obviously he jumped off the ship because he couldn't stand being on the ship anymore, listening to the Black Guardian, and he was panicking. This sounded like the best idea to him. But the Captain Rack, she essentially treats it as if he purposely went towards her ship.
He says that he wanted to join the winners.
Which doesn't make... Well, I can understand him being opportunistic, and he wants to get on the ship, and maybe he changed his thoughts so that, she wouldn't understand that. But it still doesn't make any sense that she would basically be like, we have a stowaway, he wants to join us and do bad things with us, and he's just like, no, I totally came here on purpose, promise.
Yeah.
It's just very weird to me.
Well,
it's
however
very
it happens,
weird disconnect.
Tedlo's now joined up with Rack and the crew of the Buccaneer. Rack sends her first mate Mansell to present Captain Davy, who's one of the other Eternal competitors, with this jeweled sword. And then invitations to the other captains to a party on board the Buccaneer.
Hey.
So we're taking a break from the race, essentially. Stryker refuses the invitation, but the Doctor accepts on his behalf.
Since they can save Turlo.
Yes. Mariner comes with them because he wants to still be with Tegan.
And this leads to Tegan getting in a fancy dress.
Looks really good in it. She looks really good in it.
She does.
I don't know if the corset is as tight as her top was in her casual
It
attire.
didn't look like... It looked more comfortable.
I always like it when companions and the Doctors try to look suitable for the period.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
setting.
to be fair, all the Eternals that were on the on the Buccaneer were also dressed up, so it may have just been what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's part of the rules of the game,
And we've got more world building here. We've got some Chinese sailors. They're presumably Eternals as well.
We also have asteroids.
Yeah. And not the video
is
game.
Interesting because Turlo and Rack leads him down to her hold, and she's got like this futuristic thing called the vacuum shield, which she goes inside. Turlo pounds on the door to get let in, and she's cackling or whatever, and then Captain Davy's ship gets fucked by an asteroid.
Well, there's another important detail you've missed there.
Oh, what's that?
We hear another voice.
Oh, we hear another voice. Okay, that's an
And that voice belongs to the Black Guardian.
Yep.
Yeah, it does.
There is a good clue.
So Rack appears to be in league with the Black Guardian. It's
Anyway,
another clue.
the Doctor, Mariner, and the pirate ship party, and this leads to one of the best scenes, where the Doctor, now the Fifth Doctor, in case you don't know, he was infamous for having a stick of celery on his lip.
Oh, yes.
So now the Doctor is at this buffet table, looking at the celery on display, checking his own against it, and then he changes the stick of celery for a flashlight.
I love this little character beat.
It's so cute. I adore it.
Yeah, it's so in character for the Doctor as well.
I'm half wondering if that was done on purpose or if he just decided to just, do
Ad-lib
that
it?
himself. He improv.
He could have ad-libbed it. I absolutely believe he could have ad-libbed it.
Yeah, it could be. That would
Yeah.
be great. But anyway,
While this is going on, Taylor's committing suicide again.
Well, it's not
Yep.
really suicide. He's more getting in a predicament.
Well, he's more being murdered, essentially.
He's
Murdered.
not being murdered, but
It's an accident.
He gets pretty close to it.
with Rack entertaining her guests on board the Buccaneer, Taylor sneaks into the room that she was in. The door is locked behind him by a pirate.
Yeah.
I don't think he's done it deliberately. I think he's just told to lock the door.
Yeah. And
I think he did
then-
it deliberately.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I don't
We
know.
never see this guy again, so who knows. But
Well, let's be fair. If it's one of the pirates who are the Eternals, they would be able to see that he's in there.
yeah.
And we pretty much have the whole idea that Rack knows, his deal.
Mhm.
She knows.
Anyway, the vacuum shield gets turned off.
Yeah.
Because pirates and somebody's in there. And that's important because there's a great big goddamn hole in the floor leading
Yeah.
out to space. So Turlo's about to suffocate.
Yeah, and while this is
Although
happening, he's
Wild-
begging for help from anyone that he can get it from.
Yeah, he calls for the Black Guardian. The Black Guardian, the troll that he is, manifests to tell him, "No, you're gonna die. Bye, fucker."
Yeah, basically. You're paraphrasing him, but that's exactly what happens.
Yeah,
I will say that at one point during all this, Rack, before all this happens, Rack asks him exactly why he came to her ship, and he says that basically he wants to learn the secrets of her power. He wants to be able to read minds and essentially do all the Eternal stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why he goes in that vacuum door anyways, is to try and figure out the secret of her power. And then instead he nearly dies due to a vacuum.
Fortunately for Turlo, he is rescued by the Doctor.
Which, this is interesting. The Doctor is wandering around looking for Turlo, and to figure out where to go on the pirate ship, he's flipping coins!
Yeah.
Is this Warrior's Gate again? Are we doing causality? Are we doing the I chain?
I love how completely through no planning at all, the episodes
Well,
that we
I have
keep
to
watching link back to each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have to say, this is better than Warrior's Gate because at least now we have a reason for us to be suspenseful of his coin tosses,
well,
rather than just wandering a white void.
I like Warrior's Gate more because I like the Gonzo. This is very good too.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
So
Meanwhile,
you're saying that a space race against immortal beings who are trying to get enlightenment is not gonzo enough for you?
oh, it's pretty Gonzo. But Warrior's Gate has mirrors.
True.
True.
Not a mirror in place for this one. Maybe that's why I picked it subconsciously.
Wait, there is a mirror in this one. The White Guardian and the Black Guardian. Natural mirrors.
Doctor Who mirror alert.
Gee, thanks, Cat.
Well, no, there's no excuse.
So there's more stuff building up.
Yeah, the
The
Doctor.
Doctor eventually does save Turlo.
He notices how she's using it to destroy the other ships. There's a sort of projector above the grid shaped like an eye.
It's an amplifier,
Yeah.
but it needs a focus.
Yeah, and
And-
he remembers the Greek.
Yeah, the ring. Yeah, how about
But
that? And
before this, what we do is we cut to Rack, who has
Oh, yeah.
taken Tegan off into a separate room. And she starts talking with Tegan. Rack says, "Oh, someone here wanted to meet you, but I guess they've gone." And then she asked Tegan, what was the question she asked Tegan? Now I can't
have you ever
remember
heard of
what it was.
time standing still?
Yes, and then she snaps her fingers and Tegan freezes. Like, completely freezes in time. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's wild.
And there's an interesting continuity
then-
error here that with her eyes, like they're wide open and then they're shut.
Hmm.
But then Rack goes over to a nice little chest and she digs through it, like it's a pirate chest. And she pulls out this very familiar looking red oval gem.
It's
where
the
she
focus.
takes over to Tegan. She takes over to Tegan, and at this point, Tegan's wearing like this tiara for some reason. She sets it in the tiara, snaps her fingers, and Tegan comes back none the wiser.
Yeah.
But before that, the finger snap to wake her up happens in part 4. But before that, our cliffhanger is actually Rack hamming it up totally. I adore her. She's like, "Doctor, you fool! This
You've
is
lost.
the end. You've lost." She's like just hamming directly to the camera, like, "Yeah."
Linda Barron loved every second she was on this, I'm sure.
Oh, I love it. It's like it's not a very like good cliffhanger in the traditional sense.
It's
like,
enjoyable.
It's, not really
it's enjoyable.
But it's got
It's
Hammy
fun.
Linda Barron. I'm here for it.
And the other part of it is that the first mate and other pirates find the Doctor and Turlo
Yep.
Oh yeah,
and hold them at
so
sword point.
okay. So there's a bit of danger there. As for the
Yep.
the end,
There is one thing that I'm wondering though is, since Stryker would have refused the invitation over to the Buccaneer anyways, if Tegan hadn't been there, how would she have gotten the gem onto the ship?
I'm sure she would have sent him a gift or something.
She'd have found a way.
Maybe.
She'd have sent the first mate with a gift again.
Leads us to our final episode.
Yeah, so the resolution to this one, well, there isn't actually much of a resolution to it. Tegan doesn't remember what the hell has just happened.
She gets unfrozen, and Rack repeats herself just to maintain the continuity. So all Tegan really thinks is a bit of deja vu.
Someone's maintaining the continuity in Doctor Who.
But then when she gets back, Mariner won't shut the fuck up.
No.
But it has a really interesting line from him. It basically sums up his entire deal as a eternal. Because Tegan's just like talking about, oh, for God's sakes, what? Are you in love with me or something? And he's like, what is love? I want existence.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me no more.
I knew you were going to do that, so I just accepted it in my heart.
Well, I did it when we were watching the episode, so
Basically.
I had to repeat myself, and now I'm mirroring myself. Bollocks.
Bollocks. The resolution to Captain Rack and her men catching the Doctor and Turlo in the chamber is, say with me now, Turlo being an opportunistic shit.
Turlo does a Turlo.
But this time, the Doctor actually lets him do it because he thinks that he's trying to prove he can be trusted. So
It's
what
like,
happens is that the Doctor, Tegan, and Mariner are sent back to the Shadow. Unharmed.
Yep.
Quite why she
And then
doesn't
Rack
harm the
just sort
Doctor,
of
I have no
casually,
idea.
Rack just casually sets up a plank as entertainment because, that's fun.
This is after they've gone, but yes.
Yeah.
Turlo
She
basically says,
makes
I'm
him
not a
over there.
spy, he's a spy, and he tries to rat the Doctor out again to get in Rat's good books. Doesn't quite work, but she sets up this plank for entertainment. And these two poor Chinese guys.
One of the Eternals
They
walks
sent
up.
off an Eternal first off the plank?
Two Chinese-looking Eternals
Yeah.
are thrown off the plank. And just poof out
they
his
just disappear. Because according to Rack, because they went off the ship, they are no longer in the race.
They're out of the race, therefore they don't exist in this reality anymore.
Yep.
Telephone. Hang on.
Now I know what this reminded me of. It reminds me of the Red Dwarf episode.
Oh, wow.
There's a creature called Legion who is basically it's revealed that he's made up of the collective consciousness of the Red Dwarf crew because they've come across the abandoned base. And when there's no conscious mind, he doesn't exist.
I see. Okay.
So that's what they remind me of. I couldn't think of it. They're gone now because they're out of the race.
And
Turlo's about to join them.
Rack here explains what she wants out of Enlightenment, and it's basically become God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She wants to destroy stuff and make stuff and just do whatever the heck she wants.
But just before she makes him walk the plank.
Well, before that, I just wanted to say it's interesting that Rack wants, as an Eternal, she doesn't really have any, let's say, creativity of her own.
No.
So with Enlightenment, she would have that. She'd be able to destroy and create, just like an ephemeral can destroy or create thoughts.
Yeah, basically, Enlightenment is exactly what it says on the tin. It's basically knowledge of everything. So she would have the knowledge to be able to do essentially whatever she wants. She'll be able to have the creativity to do whatever she wants, and she'll be able to exist without
That's what she
having to
believes it to be,
use
anyway.
mind
Yes.
to focus.
That's what she thinks.
Yeah.
That's what she wants out of it.
Yeah, that's what she thinks it is.
And she can basically read Turlo like a book.
So she's
You're
about to
not
sentence
on
him
my
to
side.
death off the plank.
Mm-hmm.
When Turlo drops a bombshell, says, "I also serve the Black Guardian. I heard you talking to him." And this intrigues Rack enough for him to stay around for a bit longer.
Yep.
Well, she wants to test it by taking him back down to the vacuum chamber.
Yeah,
and channeling the Black Guardian to prove it.
It's time for the Shadow to go bye-bye in Rack's mind.
Yep.
So she's going to blow it up and show the Black Guardian.
The Buccaneer pulse level. And then we get the most gonzo scenes of the entire thing.
Oh, this is where we actually see the finish.
We both thought she was T-posing at first.
Oh, yeah!
She isn't T-posing. But she sort of brings her arms up, and then she vanishes, apart from her head, in this pillar of black light.
She goes full queen here.
And I was going to say that. And then she starts talking through the voice of the Black Guardian.
Yep.
This is just weird.
And this is where we see the finish line. We see Enlightenment. Well, not Enlightenment, just like the finish. I guess it is Enlightenment. They don't actually go on it. It's like this big, glowing, crystalline thing in space.
Yeah.
It's just as striking as the tall ships.
Yeah. There's some really good imagery in this story.
But to make a long story short here, the Buccaneer starts overtaking them. The Doctor does finally realize the focus and whatnot, and that Captain Rack is sabotaged, and it's Tegan's tiara. And for the third time, I think, it happened in Terror of the Vervoids, it happened in another one, and it happened in here. The Doctor grabs an axe and goes apeshit.
Hammer.
It's an axe. It's the back of an axe.
It's the back of an axe? Okay.
Yeah.
He breaks the diamond and tiara into fragments.
Which doesn't do shit.
Yeah, bad idea. It actually makes it worse.
Goes really full queen, and her face multiplies into several different faces, all on this black screen.
Yeah, she's a killer queen, dynamite with a laser beam, guaranteed to blow your mind.
Yeah, so that didn't help. So now the Doctor has to gather up all the shards and run up on deck and throw them out into space.
Which he just about manages.
Which he does just in the nick of time.
So, anyway, not that it matters that much anyways, because the Buccaneer is still about to win the race.
Yeah, after that excitement, the wind has died down completely. The Shadow ain't moving anymore. So the Doctor says, I have to stop Rat from winning the race. Give me my TARDIS back now, you idiots. To which Stryker says, it was in your mind the entire time, Doctor. I'm sorry, what?
Oh, that's so gonzo and cool. They just hit it in his mind.
And then he just thinks about it for a second, and then it's there in the room.
Yay!
Okay, but this leads to some bullshit. The Doctor... Well, Tegan stays behind, so the Doctor goes over to Rack's Buccaneer in the TARDIS, pops into the vacuum shield room, and gets caught by one of the other Pirate Eternals and Rack. Yeah, and she's basically done with him, so she's gonna throw the Doctor and Turlock in space.
This is the first mate.
First mate, okay.
Yeah.
We cut back to the Shadow, where we see Man overboard off the Buccaneer, and we see two figures spiraling out and vanishing in.
Yeah.
Oh no! The Doctor and Turlo are dead. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, sure.
The tension.
I believe that for all of 0.5 of a second.
Yeah, this does lead to a scene where Mariner is just fuck. He's like, "Wow, your thoughts are all sad now. That's weird." Oh, I don't understand that.
God, he's so creepy.
Anyway, the Buccaneer makes it through the finish line to Enlightenment. And the pirate crew on it promptly vanishes into nothing.
The human crew. This is the human crew that vanish.
The human pirate crew.
Yeah.
Then the White Guardian and the Black Guardian show up. This crystal, and they have some cryptic, weird dialogue.
They do.
And they're waiting for the winner of the race. And then comes the doctor. Hello.
Hey.
I piloted the Buccaneer into the fine. I won the race. Oh, by
He
the
won
way,
the race. He won the race. He won the race. And now he's happy.
Oh, by the way, we totally dealt with Captain Rack off screen there for a
Yeah,
minute.
I'm still wondering how the heck that happened.
I don't know. It's kind of bullshit. It's just there to build a little.
Yeah, because I mean, they literally showed Rack not that long ago, literally just snapping her, doing a Thanos snap, and then Tegan stopped it. Just
But the doctor, I do like the line the doctor says, I'm terribly sorry. The captain and her first met with a terrible accident.
God almighty.
You know, we just casually, technically murder 2 people, as you do.
So the Guardian said, "The prize is yours, Doctor. Here is the Enlightenment. Enlightenment turns out to be a big diamond."
Yep.
Well, at first it's a big orb, a big glowing orb.
Yeah. The Doctor says, "I don't want it. I'm not ready for this."
Oh yeah, and Mariner dissipates.
Damn! Before that happens, the Doctor and the White Guardian sort of say, "I don't think the Eternals are ready for it either." So the White Guardian agrees and says they will vanish now back to where they came. Stryker doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
And neither does Mariner, who's actually.
Stryker doesn't say anything. Mariner doesn't want to go.
Yeah, Mariner's like, oh no, I know what feelings are and shit now. Oh,
Stryker basically is resigned to his fate.
It's less that, and I think it's more selfish desire to continue to exist in this world.
That's exactly what it is.
He wants to stay with Tegan to do it. Yeah.
Tegan, to her credit, doesn't fall for it, and he goes.
And this leads to the climax point of the episode.
Yeah, and the entire trilogy, in fact.
Okay.
Turbo's true colours are revealed.
Want to hit that one up?
Yeah, so the Doctor has refused the prize. The Eternals are all gone, so they can't take the prize. The White Guardian says, I can offer a portion of this to you, Turbo, because you helped the Doctor bring in the Buccaneer. So you helped to win the race.
All over that. It's a big diamond.
Yeah, I love his expression, but he's like, the diamond.
It's like, oh!
Yeah, and then the Black Guardian says, may I remind you, boy, as part of our arrangement, that belongs to me now.
Yeah.
So Turbo has a choice. He can give up the diamond to the Black Guardian, or he can give the Doctor over to the Black Guardian and get both the diamond and the TARDIS. And Turbo struggles with this for a bit. He's conflicted. And then he throws the diamond at the Black Guardian. You think, okay, he's giving it to the Guardian. No, he sets the Guardian on fire.
Yeah, he does.
Well, he doesn't really.
The diamond sets the Guardian on fire.
Well, no, it's
Turbo's
a choice.
Just like, fuck it, I don't want it. And he flings it to the Black Guardian, and then the Black Guardian, burns up.
Yeah.
I think the idea is that, in the end, Turlo had to make a choice. Was he going to do the right thing by giving up the diamond, or was he going to do the wrong thing by keeping the diamond and the TARDIS and giving it to the Doctor?
As they
say, making
say,
the right choice, essentially, he sort of ended the Black Guardian's effect on this situation. So the Black Guardian burst into flames. And
as the Doctor says, the light destroys the dark.
Enlightenment wasn't the diamond. Enlightenment was the choice.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it means that the Guardian's arrangement with Turlo is terminated.
Yep. So Turlo,
which I have to say, I like this ending a lot.
Yeah, it's a good ending.
That's essentially what Enlightenment is. It's the knowledge to know exactly if you're doing what's right.
It's the power to choose. Yeah.
Turlo took the choice to do what was right, and he, in fact, did gain enlightenment into the situation.
Which means that Turlo is now a full member of Team TARDIS.
For about another season.
Yeah. He wants to go back to his home planet, and the Doctor agrees.
But, the White Guardian says, the Black Guardian's totally pissed with you. He'll have a third encounter with you. Never happens on TV.
Never happens on screen, anyway.
Big Finish.
Is there?
I'm sure they've done it.
There's probably a book or an audio drama with him coming back.
I would put down a 10 on there being a Black Guardian Big Finish thing.
Yeah, I think I would probably take that back.
That's Enlightenment.
Good stuff.
Thoughts?
Good stuff.
Why don't you hit us up, Randy X?
I chose it. So I I will now come clean. I had not seen this one in full before now. Even though I chose it. I mostly chose it for Captain Rack.
Bless.
Because she is a fantastic villain.
Mm-hmm.
She's in it for about 20 minutes, but she just steals the show every time she's on the screen. And she is having a blast, and you can tell she's having a blast playing this character, and it just bleeds through, and it's terrific. I think the whole subplot with Turlo, will he do the right thing, will he do the wrong thing? I think that's interesting. The Guardians are not that interesting, but they work in the context of the story so well, the whole dark and light, good and evil, it really works. The Eternals are creepy as hell, particularly Mariner. And I'm glad that he gets dismissed into eternity at the end.
Something about the Eternals?
Yeah?
Would you like to know something about them?
Go on.
Apparently, writer Barbara Clegg based the Eternals on a wealthy group of her own relatives.
I love it.
According to what this says, upon visiting her, they demanded constant entertainment and treated other family members as lesser beings.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god, that is so 80s.
So literally, the Eternals are Karens.
Oh my god!
With the one incel.
We haven't really talked too much about Tegan in this one, other than her interactions with creepy Mariner. I think she's great in it too.
Oh, Tegan is the best Fifth Doctor companion.
She grounds the Doctor in many ways. She keeps him grounded.
I don't think
it's any coincidence that when Tegan departs the show, the Fifth Doctor's era starts to really unravel.
Well, I mean, there's only two. Well, literally, because there's only two stories after.
That's true.
And then he regenerates.
Yeah. But had it continued, I don't think it would have been as good.
No.
She's a good companion.
So is that all for you from Enlightenment?
I think so, yeah.
All right. If I may, I really enjoyed this. I like it. I would put it in my top 5, Peter Davison, I think. Yeah, that sounds about right. It's evocative. It has really striking imagery with ships in space. Really neat thematic resonance with the Eternal idea of creativity and what they find in entertainment, and their disdain for lesser life forms leads to the theme that the small emotional, small human lives are what really matter. Captain Rack is wonderful, and we have that lovely ending where the story turns out to be about Turlo been doing the wrong thing and saying the wrong thing. Finally, getting some decency and getting his own enlightenment and a bit of a redemption. So, all in all, I'd say it's a hit. Really great. And a lovely pick. Thank you for it.
You're welcome.
Kat?
I also very much enjoyed this. It had a lot of philosophy in it, where not Tegan, Turlo dealing with his contract with the Black Guardian, the concept of black versus white, the whole idea of enlightenment. I really liked those aspects a lot. I like the setting a lot too, where it's just like these big old, sailing ships from like the 16th century and stuff, sailing in space. That's amazing. Rack, awesome. Tegan was also extremely awesome. I loved her interactions with the Mariner and how she just kept shutting him down. It's like, that I feel is super important, especially when it comes to that sort of person, because that really shows people that they can say no to someone and just shut them completely down. So, life goals right there.
Excellent.
And I really enjoyed this series of episodes. It was the first time I've seen the Fifth Doctor, so that was a good introduction. So good job, Brainiac.
You're very welcome.
Good job.
And one thing I forgot to mention about this, and I'm totally not stalling to prevent Kat from making her pick now. The thing about Strike I forgot to mention is that he was originally not supposed to be played by Keith Barron.
Oh.
He was originally going to be played by Peter Sallis, who was the voice of Wallace from Wallace and Gromit.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, weren't they having issues on set so that they had to push back the...
An industrial dispute, yes.
Episodes? Yeah.
So he was unable to appear, so Keith Barron got the job instead.
I see.
Just a little interesting thing I forgot to mention.
We can't delay it any longer.
No. It's not fair to do that.
Next time on Doctor Who Reviews, it's Kat's choice.
It's Kat's choice.
Yes.
And I'm paying attention now, so if we drop it...
Yeah, sock it to us.
What do we got?
Well, you know, guys, it is my birthday, so I think we're going to do something special next time.
Okay.
Frez,
Yes.
it's time.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Christ.
It's time, Frez.
I'm waiting for the swerve.
Oh, you know exactly what I mean. It's time.
Time. We already did
Well,
time.
it seems we're having a little bit of a dilemma.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
It's here.
Is it, or are you doing like a thing where it's a mystery?
We're going to do the twin dilemma. Happy birthday to me.
Excuse me. Oh, God. I'm just thinking of...
But you know what? You know what?
What?
I'm going to throw in a curveball, too.
What?
Oh, boy. Oh, here we go.
It's a twin dilemma. So we're going to do 2 episodes.
Wait, what?
So everyone, join us next time when we do the twin dilemma and the 2 doctors.
Wait, what?
Yeah!
There's the curveball.
We're doing a double header?
There's your curveball. Yes, you guys have done all these multi-part episodes, and I feel a little bit left out because I keep picking one-shots, so I thought, it's my birthday, I'm going to do a double header.
Okay.
And what better episodes than the 2 doctors and the twin dilemma?
I like that pairing, yes.
All right.
I mean, I don't like
You're
the
not
pairing
going to like that
because
pairing that much.
Well, no, I don't like the pairing because it's I like the thematics of the pairing. I don't like the pairing because the twin dilemma's in it, but...
Well, like you said, this is ripping the Band-Aid off. Once we do it, we're free of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially. But
All right.
I felt that since I know the twin dilemma is boring. I haven't seen the 2 doctors, but I know it's got the second doctor in it that has to be more entertaining. So I figured I'd give you guys something bad, but also something that potentially could.
Oh, there's definitely something we can talk about.
Okay. So, on that absolute bombshell that I was not expecting in any way, shape, or form.
All right, Jeremy Clarkson, calm down.
This has been Enlightenment. Thank you to the birthday girl and FreezingInferno for talking about it with me. I've enjoyed it quite a lot. Thank you to you for listening to us talk about it. And join us next time for the first doubleheader in Doctor Who review history, the Twin Dilemma, and the 2 Doctors.
Both of which are Colin Baker episodes, so yeah!
Yeah, like I said, I like the thematic pairing. What are the 2 stories in the pairing? Not so much, but I like the thematic pairing. Until then. No.
Oh, now he's doing the twin thing.
Shit.
Really, what are twins except biological mirrors of each other?
Stop.
Have the fun now because that's all the fun you're going to get.
Cease.
Oh, you misunderstand. We'll see next time.
Yeah, for the Twin Dilemma and the 2 Doctors. Until then, bye for now.
Bye.
Right on cue. Right on fucking cue.
Whoa, language there.
It's not a motorbike. I saw the little shit going around. It's an ATV.
Have you got the window shut this time?
No, but I'm about to. It's 30 degrees Celsius, but I'm about to.
No. If you want to keep the window open, that's fine. I quite like
No. That little fucker's gonna do it again.
I quite like the ongoing saga of Fresno versus motorbike.
All right. We'll leave the window open for comedy.
Well, more for you not overheating.
Because I'm a typical American, I follow this website that has like these really cool guns for shooting and stuff. Well, obviously, because guns are for shooting. I literally just woke up like 2 hours ago. Leave me alone.
I'm not having a go at you. I just think that's really funny. Enlightenment.
Hey, you picked it.
I'm glad I did.
Yay.
Gonzo shit.
do this.
Gonzo shit.
Gonzo shit. I can't do a Gonzo impression. I don't remember. Hello, everyone. That's just not how Gonzo talks at all.
No, that's not Gonzo at all.
It's vaguely Gonzo-like.
Vaguely.
Although his is more gravelly.
It's Gonzo-like in the sense that it's a voice, and Gonzo has a voice.
Well, Gonzo kind of sounds like a 50-year-old smoker who recently just got into comedy.
So Marge Simpson?
Yes. But she's actually enthusiastic about living.
Marge has been
whatever. With you, sweetie.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, Turlo debuted 2 serials before this in, and I'm going to
motherfucker
butch this. Mordred Undead?
Yes.
Also, why the expletive?
Because of that goddamn motorbike.
Oh. I can't hear it.
I think it's time to close the window.
I can't hear
time
it.
to close the window.
Yeah. I can't hear it, so it won't be in the blooper reel, but...
Yeah, I also can't hear it, but obviously it's disturbing
Yo,
him,
I have some interesting news. The window's been closed this entire time. That was a
goddamn
truck.
troll.
That was a truck. Okay, that's an escalation for your blooper reel.
Yeah, all right. If he wasn't satisfied with the motorbike, now she's just taking a damn truck to Newfoundland.
Newfoundland.
Oh, I see. No. We're gonna get to pronunciation wars now, are we?
Yes, we are.
Okay, Newfoundland.
Newfoundland. Thank you.
Jory.
Thank you, Brat. Thank you, Brat.
Hey, that's Cat's joke.
Hey, that's my shtick. That's my shtick here. I'm the only one allowed to call Brandy by something other than his name.